Aho, hijan kishana hinikaragiwin. Hamte hanichawida haipin. Hello, everybody. I am very happy to see you all today. And welcome to Module 1 as we start to roll out our Hoyt A, our online independent learning program. So this is Module 1, and this is what we'll be covering for this week. But once again, just a reminder, do not stress. It could take you longer than a week to complete and meet the learning targets in this module. And that's just fine. Again, this is self-paced. Take your time, do it when it feels good, and when you have the time to do it, sit down, work through it with your family, okay? So once again, this is the module we're introducing this week, but you can take as long as you need to get through it. So I'm gonna jump right in because there is another video that I want to splice in here for everybody to see. But I just want to give a brief introduction. So our module this week is the alphabet. That's right. We're going to talk a little bit and learn the alphabet for the Hoocak language. And our learning target for this week is very important, is that learners, you the learners, will be able to associate spoken Hoocak sounds with their written symbols. That's what we would like for you to be able to do at the end of this module. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about writing and reading Hoocak. Now, many of us know that the Hoocak language has been for thousands and thousands of years primarily an oral language. Okay, we did not have a writing system, definitely did not have one pre-contact that we know of. And it took a while after European contact for us to begin writing the language down in kind of a semi-organized way. The first writing system that we used actually came about in the late 1800s, and it was known as the Ba-Be-Be-Bo system. That's exactly what we called it, and it was a syllabic system. And we actually adapted this from the Sac and Fox and probably some other Algonquian tribes who use this syllabary, is what it's called. Now, the reason it's called a syllabic text is because every single symbol within this writing system represents a syllable of a word. Now, this writing system was used by a number of different people from the late 1800s all the way to the current day. Some individuals still use the system. It is very handy in a lot of different ways, but it is also a little cumbersome, and it doesn't lend itself as well to our language when it comes to like consonant clusters or denoting vowel length, something that you're going to hear about in a little bit. But it is still, you know, a very valid writing system. Some people still like to use it. I am not very good at it myself, but I do like to play around every once in a while, and there are some very proficient people that I check in with to see how I'm doing with it. It also helps if you want to read old letters or old texts that had been written in this syllabic system. So that was the only real writing system that we had for a long time until we started getting more into, especially in the 90s, the language revitalization phase of our history, when we started to adopt more of a phonetic alphabet, and that is where our IPA came from. So the Hoocak IPA, which stands for International Phonetic Alphabet, came about, and the difference between the IPA and a system like the Ba-Be-Be-Bo is that every single symbol, every single letter in the IPA or in the Hoocak Wo-Wagach represents an individual sound within the language. So, and every sound is very distinct, obviously. So they have their own distinct symbol. Now we match that up kind of with the English or the Roman alphabet that we all use currently when we're writing English. And so just for ease and to make it easier to associate these sounds with Hoocak, there are a number of different sounds in Hoocak that we do not have in English, and those are denoted with the little diacritics and the little marks that you see within the alphabet. So that Hoocak IPA is what all of our materials are produced and what they are written in, and that's what this module is going to focus on, is teaching you how to use that Hoocak IPA. Now, a very good question I want to get to before we jump into the next video is it necessary to learn how to read and write in order to learn Hoocak? And I'll tell you right now, no, it is not an absolute necessity. I mean, think about it. People learned and spoke Hoocak for thousands and thousands and thousands of years without a writing system. So no, it's not an absolute necessity at all. But I want to also stress, though, it can help a great deal. Look, you guys, the name of the game when it comes to acquiring a new language is getting as much exposure as you possibly can. Now, we don't have a plethora of video materials. We don't have news channels running in Hoocak. And, the unfortunate reality of our situation is we don't have a lot of people out there speaking it on a daily basis any longer. So there's not as many opportunities for exposure. With the writing, however, that counts equally as exposure to the language and can help you acquire and learn a great deal. So reading the language, being able to write the language becomes a very important tool to help you with learning. So is it an absolute necessity? No, it's not. Can it help a great deal? Absolutely. Would I encourage you or would I advise somebody to learn how to read and write? Absolutely. Because again, language, name of the game is communication, and reading and writing is just another way that we can communicate with each other. So that's it from my portion of the video. We are going to go into now a YouTube video that was created by our very own Hoocak, who made an awesome primer and introduction and instructional video on how the Hoocak alphabet is used. So I am going to turn it over at this point over to Hoocak so you learn a little bit more about the Hoocak Wowagach. As always, please remember, you can email any of the instructors at any time if you have questions. Also, you can send an email to hoocakacademy@gmail.com if you have questions at any time. Watch the website for more information, more materials, more videos, and more practice opportunities for you so you can help meet the learning objective and learning target for this week. So again, good to see everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Jige Hani Chak Jawi.
All right, today I want to talk about the Hoocak alphabet. I see on Facebook and talk to people who have a difficult time grasping some of the concepts of the alphabet. There are many similarities and many differences with the English alphabet, so this video aims to address these differences and will hopefully make it easier to understand. The first difference I want to go over is vowels. I taught Hoocak in the high school for 4 years, and one of the things I noticed is that learners got tripped up over vowels. The vowels are the same letters as in the English alphabet. A, E, I, O, U. But in Hoocak, we don't say A, E, I, O, U. We say A, E, O, U. Anybody who's taken a Spanish class will remember that that's how they teach vowels there as well. Whenever you come across these vowels in a word, any word, they will make that sound every time. You probably noticed that some vowels have a tail underneath them. Those vowels have a nasalized sound to them. Not all vowels have this change. A, E, and U do. A and O do not. Double vowels can also undergo this change. Some of you might be wondering why we use a double vowel system. The reason is to differentiate between certain words like waruch, meaning food, and waruch, meaning table. Wagach, meaning to write, and wagach, meaning paper, and some verb conjugations that would differentiate between who you're talking about. It should also be noted that when a nasalized vowel precedes a K or a P, for instance, it changes the sound a little. For instance, wonk, meaning man, and hump, meaning day, have sounds similar to the English NK and MP, respectively. It can also happen before a J, as in the word hachinja. The next thing I want to talk about are consonants. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is the consonants that are different from English. Once again, when you come across these letters in a word, they make the same sound every time. The first is C. This letter makes a ch sound every time you see it. It never changes. You see this letter in cha and Hoocak. The next one is ra. An example of this is rak, meaning to cry. Next we have the R, ra. This is similar to the Spanish R. An example word is rogu, meaning want. The next letter is the S with a caron on top. This makes a sh sound, as in shagoi, meaning 7. The T makes a hard D sound in Hoocak, as in the word dakach. The X makes a cha sound, like in chawi, meaning grass. And the Z with a caron on top makes a ja sound, as in naji, meaning to stand. The following letters make the same sound in Hoocak as they do in English, so you don't have to worry about those. B, G, H, J, K, M, N, P, S, W, Y, and Z. They make the same exact sound, so you don't have to worry about those. It's just the other ones that you have to worry about. Once you learn those, it's pretty easy. Like I said before, these letters make the same sound every time. In English, the letter C makes a hard C sound, or it can make a sound like an S. It's not like that in Hoocak. Every time. A common spelling error I see is people spelling jaji as J-A-G-I. What they are doing is applying English rules to Hoocak. The proper spelling is J-A-A-J-I. Because that G makes a G sound every time, and that J makes a J sound every time. The hiushajikere. The hiushajikere in Hoocak means sudden stop. So when this marker follows a letter, know that there will be a glottal stop. This may be difficult at first, but with practice it'll get easier. The letters with a glottal stop are as follows: ka, pa, sa, sha, ta, and cha. Notice that the T makes a harder T sound on ta. Okay, so back to the consonants. A good practice they used to teach is just adding the vowels after every consonant. Ba, be, bi, bo, bu. Cha, che, chi, cho, chu. Because like I said, when you come across these vowels, they don't change. You can also use that with some of the letters with the hiushajikere. Ka, ke, ki, ko, ku. Ba, be, bi, bo, bu. Sa, se, si, so, su, and so on and so forth. Languages are complex systems of communication, and alphabets are no different. I know there's a lot of information in this video alone, but don't be afraid to watch it again. Take notes, watch other videos, and ask people to help you learn to read and write, as that will help you learn our language going forward. Pinagigiwi.